Hi. Oh, earpods. I don't like it when I don't have them because it's hard to hear. Did they connect? Can you hear me? Hi everyone. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? Hi.
You get a thumbs up from me. I
Yay.
can hear you.
Good.
Looking fabulous once again, Mels.
Well, this is my actual Eddie look.
Yeah. The hair is great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm mainly proud of the hair, to be honest. But hold on one moment. Like, I swear, I don't know if it's nerves or what, but like every time before we start a live, my right eye waters.
This is like how I always get something in my eye before we record.
What's
Like,
happening?
how is that a thing? Like,
I don't know.
why does that happen?
I have my, did it go off? What are you doing, light bright? Don't tell me the batteries went dead. We'll just leave them on. Talk to me, Eddie.
What does it say?
It's terrible. Listen, I haven't light brighted in several years.
What does it say?
It says EM for I didn't have enough room for the A.
So Eddie and Mel's forever?
Well, just Eddie Munson forever.
Oh, of course, right. How could I forget that his last name starts with an F?
However, it could be Eddie and Mills if I play my cards right. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. That's what I immediately assumed, is that it's you and Eddie forever. Excuse me, forever. Forever.
Forever.
Forever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, hello, everyone. Oh, thank you, Alyssa. That's very nice. Oh, I don't know what I did.
Okay, I got the comments. Don't worry.
Same.
Okay, through the never or through then ever?
Through the never ever?
Through then ever? Okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh, hi Adam. Haven't talked to you in forever. And yeah, forever ever. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody.
Yes, Jasmine looks great in her middle part.
Thank you so much. I am living my best middle part life, I must say. I haven't gotten my hair cut yet since starting the middle part lifestyle, so that will be interesting when I go to get it cut and it's like officially, shaped for this lifestyle.
Official.
But yeah,
it's official.
It'll be very official soon times, because I gotta fix myself up before I come see you. So,
well, can I tell you what I'm getting done before I meet you?
What?
Botox.
For real?
Yeah, I am. Fuck it, I'm
doing
it. Just because, okay, from looking at Scott like this for 20 years, I have like a furrow line. So I kind of want to ease that up, and then maybe just listen. It's all vanity. It is what it is. I'm not scared to get old, but I do want this to decrease a little bit, and I want to smooth out my forehead, and I'll tell you why. Because the main reason, and this is pretty vain, is that my makeup gets like stuck in the creases and it drives me crazy.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah,
it's really honestly not even like I want to look youthful. I just am tired of my makeup creasing in the fucking like lines on my forehead.
I mean, honestly, you are controversial yet brave. I mean, I don't even know if it's controversial. Like, so many people do Botox, but I'm terrified. Like, I just can't do it because I'm terrified.
Well, I will tell you what, and then I'm wearing my Hellfire shirt again, but what eased me into actually pulling the trigger on this, because I had been thinking about it for a while. But my bestie Jess, she while we were in Georgia, she was like, I'm going Saturday to get Botox, and I was like, tell me more. And so she was like telling me all, all about it or whatever. She has a
Yeah.
friend that is board certified for it. And I was like, well, will you keep me updated? And so she did text me on Saturday and she was like, it went fine. You don't feel a thing. She was like, trust me when I tell you, like, I barely even knew that they were done. And I believe she would tell me. And
Yeah.
so because she knows I'm a weenie, so like if she didn't tell me, I would be like coming for her. Also, check it out. I got some Eddie rings.
What are they?
One says
I mean, they look cool from here, but I can't exactly. Instagram isn't the best for like clarity.
this one just says trust no one, and the other one says true love with two sparrows. But I'll tell you, I found like a little shop where they were like $5 a piece, and I was like, "This is metal, Eddie metal," and so I had to buy them. So
So, how
anyway,
long do you think until your fingers turn green?
oh, it's already happened.
Maybe it's a damn fine green, so it's
It
fine,
is. It is.
Alyssa, well, we're meeting in Twin Peaks later this summer, and we're definitely gonna have some footage. I mean, especially for the Patreon, we'll definitely have some stuff. So stay
Yes,
tuned.
stay tuned. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun, and we are so excited.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy that it's happening finally.
finally,
Speaking
and
of
it's
our
not that
Patreon,
far away.
oh my gosh, you're too invested in this friendship. We love how invested you are. It
Yes, and
really like genuinely warms our heart.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
D says fully green by the end of this live. Well, we'll have to
Yeah,
do a check-in. Yeah, we'll have to do a check-in at the end.
we'll
So,
do a check. We'll do a check.
but speaking of our Patreon, I wanted to shout out that this Saturday, July 16th, we are having our monthly hangout for patrons at the $5 tier and above. And we are actually doing our first post return chat. So we've had this idea for a little while now to just have these chats on Patreon that are just kind of on broad topics related to Twin Peaks. And the first topic we chose was Audrey Horne. So we're just going to get together with patrons and talk about what we think about Audrey, what we think is going on with her, where she is, what we wish for her. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So
I
that's
mean, did she have fun on John's private plane? Like, we have so much to talk
confirmed. I
about.
think we can confirm that.
John
But
was
yeah,
packing
so
the heat.
absolutely. We know he was. So yeah, so that's this Saturday. Still lots of time to sign up, and we've said it so many times already, but all the funds from our Patreon from July are going to a good cause, and we finally were like, let's make a decision so we can announce what that good cause is. So we decided that July's funds are going to go to Action Canada for Sexual Health and Rights, which is basically like a grouping of 3 or 4 different organizations that all either have like actual clinics set up for reproductive health or just like, I don't know, community outreach, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just 4 organizations that decided to come together, make things easier. And so we're going to donate there. We have a link in our Instagram bio, so you can check out more if you're actually interested in donating on your own, or you're a patron and you want to know where your money is going. But that's what's happening. So we finally decided.
Yay, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. All right. So now that that is all out of the way, we have a pretty epic episode of television to talk about. I think we
Right.
can call it a film, but whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So let's get into this. I mean, season 4, Stranger Things, episode 9, the piggyback. Last week we did, what worked and what didn't. I was saying to Mel's earlier today, like, I don't have a lot of things that didn't work. So
Yeah.
should we just bang out those like very few things real quick, and then we can have just a general chat about the episode?
Let's bang it out. Yeah.
Let's bang it out. So because I think you have a bigger one than I do. So let's start with yours.
I do. And honestly, a lot of people I know are going to be like, oh my gosh, like, obviously I'm dressed like Eddie. But I want to talk about Eddie's death. I it devastated me. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm actually fine with it because he did die a hero, and that's exactly what
Big time, yeah.
I could have ever hoped for. So my gripe with losing Eddie though is the plot armor that we have against all of our main characters. And I know that sounds like that that might sound like, oh my gosh, Mel's, are you really going here? Well, I kind of am because I'll tell you why. And it's not,
Go
it's,
there.
and I'm going to be honest. I mean, not to take away what happened to Max because I wouldn't call that armor, first of all, but I get very kind of sus or skeptical or salty, like the three S's. I don't know when it comes to plot armor, but I think the TV show Game of Thrones ruined me on that because, and also The Walking Dead. I'm gonna be completely honest, because we have these characters that get into these situations where you know good and damn well that it shouldn't play out the way that it does, but yet here we are. But you give us such strong characters to really and all right, Billy, not so much. Definitely Eddie. But I also, by the end of the season, really fucking cared for Bob. And I was like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing where I'm like, how about stop introducing great, like, main characters for us? Give us some, like, side players. I'm fine with that. Like Jason, you know, basketball douchebag. I guess you could call him a main player, but I sidelined him from like the jump. But that's where my gripe comes in, you know, like
Yeah.
so it's not specifically because they took away my all-time, no matter what anyone could say, favorite character in Stranger Things, quite possibly television, but it's it's just this feeling of like we're plot armoring our main characters maybe a little too much and we're not giving. Oh, okay, like wouldn't it have been great to see Steve again next season like we got to see Robin? I would have loved Steve, excuse me, Eddie. I would have loved to have seen like Eddie develop a little more. Like maybe he does make it out of high school finally and let's see what happens to him. Like is he also down at the video palace or whatever it is? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like kind of my main gripe, and it just so happens to be wrapped up in a person that I'm truly madly
Right.
deeply in love with. But it's
Yeah.
I'm not mad about the hero's death and what we got from him because that was one of my fucking it worked all day, worked me from head to toe to middle to bottom to everywhere in between, works me out.
It was. It was so fantastic the way it was done. He truly did die a hero's death, and I cannot even believe how devastating it was. Like and I think this is partly why, because, we texted after we saw it for the first time, and I said, let's stop introducing characters just to kill them off. I was salty about it, but on this rewatch today, I'm really not bothered at all by this thing that they're doing because I
Okay,
really
fair.
reflected back and I thought, okay, they've been doing this since Jump. They did it with Bob, they did it with Alexi, now they did it with Eddie. And what I have to say, I think what I was initially so frustrated by is I'm glad you brought up The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead has also ruined me for stuff like this because they are the fucking worst for all of a sudden at the beginning of an episode, this like C character has 17,000 lines and they're getting all of this character development. And you're like, so they're dying by the end of the episode, right? Whereas with Stranger Things, I feel like they do a good enough job making us love these characters so much that they kind of earn the death. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. I really am because, again, and we could talk about it more when we get into things that really worked. So it's not so much. It's just for once though, even though we've been doing this from jump, can we try the different formula? Can we
Right.
get to solve for
That's
X
fair.
by putting our integers or whatever in a different order? Maybe I don't know.
I think another thing that made it work a little bit more for me. And again, it was like it had to be a second watch thing because I had to come to terms with everything that was going on. But I think what happens to Max is even worse than dying.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that they finally didn't play, like, I think you could still argue that the Hopper thing played a little fast and loose, right?
yeah,
Like they maybe should have stuck to their guns on that one in season 3, but we've talked about it. We've come to terms with the fact that he's still around. We're here for it. There is something about the not quick fix of Max being in some kind of limbo state that for
yeah.
me made it feel like, okay, they are working towards some consequences. And I also think if this was the final season, I would be right there with you.
Yeah.
And I think in the final season, some of that plot armor is going to be shed.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
if it doesn't, and I have said this before, then that is just not the kind of that's just not the kind of way around, like that's not the kind of storytelling that they want to do, I guess. Like that's just not the approach that they're going for.
Right.
um because they definitely have a like love and friendship prevail over all type thing. And not to say that Eddie couldn't have become part of the group, and like let's say we lost, because there was a moment there where I thought we were going to lose Lucas instead of Max. Maybe we lose
Yeah.
Lucas, we kept Eddie, and like it could still be a friendship prevails kind of thing. But I am very interested to see how this impacts Dustin moving forward, because I
Yeah.
think it's going to be, I hope it's quite an impact, and I would love to see what happens to his character because of this. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whew, yeah,
but
like,
like you're not wrong. They definitely have, excuse me, plot armor, but I wonder if it's just the kind of show where that's going to be the thing.
and that's fine too. I mean, honestly, excuse me. Honestly, that's
That's
fine,
okay.
but
That I
it's
don't know what's worse, me pulling a piece of mint out of my mouth or you dabbing your eyes. So like,
I mean, it is what it is. This is damn fine canon.
yeah,
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's fine. I mean, I'm not. I I still am mad at the Duffer Brothers, and I don't. I wish they would stop trying to call me to like reconcile their decision, because I'm not taking their calls at this moment. So if you are tuning
sure.
into this Duffers, I need bereavement time. So how about you back the fuck off? But
Yeah.
no,
So inconsiderate.
so and also, like Bob got a little bit of a hero's quote unquote death himself. I mean, Barb, bless her heart, didn't, and Billy definitely. Well, his is questionable. I'm just saying questionable. Okay, he did sacrifice himself, but that does not excuse the what he was. Okay, but this was a feel good, like it was a it, as stupid as it I feel saying it was a feel good, like reconciliation and all of that. So
I just wish that it had meant more to the overall fight as well, because the thing is, it was a beautiful development for Eddie.
yeah,
There was this whole thing of him, always running away from the problem and not wanting to be that guy that runs away. And he really did, have this arc where he finally didn't run away and he proved something to himself. He proved something to Dustin. It is the only way that he would, move on or have this hero's death or whatever. But like, did going back do anything? Like, I don't think his attack against the bats actually
no,
made a difference towards
and
Vecna's health bar. So, like,
I thought we could maybe talk about that when we get around to it, because
sure.
I also feel like it was why. So we'll get to that. But
Okay.
And I know that you've got one that is really, really good that I agree with also, but I'll let you tell that one because I'm in this exact same boat as you as far as like what didn't work
Okay.
for
Well,
this.
I want to go to Alyssa's comment because she's
Oh
bringing up the
yeah.
exact thing that I'm going to talk about. So Alyssa said, biggest no-no, Lucas and Erica having way too realistic villains after them with guns, while everyone else faces supernatural. It was too real and too horrific for me. I had a visceral reaction to it. Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, Alyssa, because I was very concerned that, and you know what? We're three white people that are saying this. So I
Yeah.
do want to just put that out there of like, maybe I'm looking at this through a too narrow lens. Maybe there's some white guilt cropping up here. But the fact that a white teenage boy attacked and threatened a young black girl, and then a white dude pulled a gun on a black kid was too fucked up for me. It was another one of those moments that took me right out of the episode. I remember turning to Tyler and being like, they have to know this looks bad, right? Like, this does not look good. And I was like, I swear, if
Yeah,
Lucas gets shot, I'm going to have a serious problem with this show. It's too real to see a poor black kid,
I
not poor
agree.
as in like money,
No,
but with his hands up. Like, I am not okay with this. And
like
that's a
don't you?
great point, Alyssa, of
Yes.
like, everybody else gets to be fighting Vecna and bats and this and that, and they have to be dealing with the white kids.
Yeah.
So I also want to be like, okay, so what do we do then? Because it's not like we live in a post racist world and things were worse back in the 80s. So do we not do those things because then that kind of erases the reality? But
Yeah.
like we already did this racist shit with Billy, and I'm like, can we just switch it up? Like, I don't know. Ugh.
I am with you 100%. And I actually, your counterpoint to like hating it, but let's also live, I mean, a little like realistically as well. I'm with you on all fronts on that because this is the fucked up like part of society that we are living in. So I think it was a bold way to make a statement,
Yeah,
but I'm watching Stranger Things for fucking Vecna or Demobats or Demogorgons or whatever it may be. Mind Flayer Spidey sense. I hate to sound that way, like to say, and again, this is the white. I don't want to say the white part of me, but that white guilt thing where it's like, is it too real because I don't and will never know what that feels like? Like, I would love to hear a
yeah,
person that is directly affected by these types of things comment on it because like was that something that they wanted to see, like how did that make them feel?
right. Yeah,
Because then I'm always open to learning and getting the perspectives of everyone. But for me, and strictly on the front of I want sci-fi things, I don't sometimes don't always want real life seeping into every single thing that I'm watching because unfortunately it seeps into pretty much everything we watch. You know, it's that type of seesaw effect, right? Like
yeah.
I don't know.
And it's tough because I don't want to say like Stranger Things should avoid making any kind of comment about anything. Like that's also not fair because I'm also really invested in what they're doing with like Will's character and Robin's character because I specifically being part of the LGBTQ plus community, I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. I want to see like different representation. So like
Right.
where do like am I drawing a weird line in the sand? But
No,
and
I
I
think,
don't know.
but
Maybe it was also like seeing that white kid tell that little black girl, don't move or I'll break your arm." I was just like, "Please stop!" Like, also you're on top of her. We've seen that narrative
that's
so many,
gross.
not narrative. That's the wrong word, but we've seen
No,
that so many
but
times in real life.
power
Bleh.
move type thing. Um, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and that's where I say like for us in the world that we live in, and then also only the perspective that I can speak from, it's gross, it's
Yeah.
yucky, but also, are we reaching a target audience that is supposed to realize that this is yucky and it is a message? I don't, I'm
Mm.
always trying to
Yeah.
find some
Yeah.
silver lining. I mean, I am the person that, don't cancel me, I am the person that tried to figure out why we needed the Civil War plot in Twin Peaks. So, all
Right.
that to say, I'm not without sometimes being like, I don't know, like, is this a very good teachable moment? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
It's tough.
but for me, yeah,
But
I
I
hated
think
it.
yeah, I think we can still say just as two people watching a TV show, we just didn't like that. And I think Alyssa brought up
Yes,
maybe the most important part of the issue is that why were they facing the real life threat when all of their friends got to be doing the cool
that's
stuff, quote
it.
unquote,
That's it. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
exactly,
anyway.
exactly. Yeah,
Alyssa
I
says the
know.
childhood trauma, racism, gun issues, etc., are what made this season so scary. I agree. Like
A
those were the most tense
hundred.
moments for me. So maybe it was good. I don't know. Like it's such a complicated issue. We
I
obviously
think,
can only see it from one
and
angle, and yeah,
that's what I was about to say. I honestly think that both can exist in the same space. I mean,
sure,
so yes, yeah, yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But that is really the only thing that did not work for me in this episode. I thought this was
Fucking
phenomenal.
amazing.
It really
Uh,
was. And I mean, I know we've had our little quibbles about the length of the episodes and why they split
yeah,
it. And I still don't know that it was perfect, but this was an amazing 2.5 hours. It was
yeah.
exciting. It was funny. It was heartbreaking. It was like inspiring. I don't know. Like it just had so much going for it. So,
So my first watch, I did have to split it in half, but it's because I chose to start it a little later in the eve or like into the night. And I was like, I'm never going to get up on time for work if I continue through. So I stopped it at a halfway point, and then as soon as work was over the next day, I picked it right up. So I didn't have, I guess within 5 days, you would maybe call that a recent rewatch, but I really was hoping to get one in with just myself because I did do the episode with Scotty, Mr. Bells. And listen, I mean, some couples or some folks or some friendships, relationships were meant to watch things together. This one is not one of those. Don't talk during it, even if I've seen it. Don't ask me what something meant because I can't talk to you about it because it's going to make sense later on down the road. Like, we're just not on that plane. So
right.
I was so taken out of it because of that as well that I just was like, could have used a private rewatch. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so worth it. I will say I was a little hesitant this morning because it's 2.5 hours, and I was like, I don't know if I want to sit down for 2.5 hours, even though I will watch like 4 episodes of something that are only like
Yeah.
40 minutes, like all in a
Yeah.
row. But I think it's just like getting around that like I don't know mindset, whatever. But
That it's
it's
one
paced
episode. Yeah.
exactly, but it's all paced so nicely. I mean, it's like exciting. There's a super great flow to everything. I mean, I'm ready to dive right in.
Oh,
I just kind
okay.
of wrote down some like highlights that I want to
Okay.
get to, and I feel like people will probably know this, but Will and Jonathan, that conversation at the pizza place, that was one of the highlights for me. Like
Yeah.
again, the Will stuff is a highlight for me. And I have heard a little bit of I don't know if it's backlash or dislike for the way that the way that people put it is that the Duffer Brothers or Stranger Things are like beating around the bush about Will's sexuality. And
Nah.
I think that there's a place for that. Like people want answers, they want to know what's going on. It's like it's become like kind of a mystery. Like, when is he gonna say something one way or the other? But the thing that
Or
I
will
really
he? It's his prerogative. I
will
mean,
he? Will he? Anyways, that's that
will
joke. So,
he? Oh, I love it.
but
Kind of like my curls joke that I don't think anybody got.
I
When I
mean,
was
I
like,
got
well, I
it.
take it loosely. Do you get it? But anyway, no, yeah. So I'm sorry. I'll let you go,
That's
and then I'll
okay.
add my thoughts to the Will and Jonathan, like as far as like this backlash or these
Well,
rumblings that are going
and
on.
what I specifically saw too was people were like, well, why didn't Jonathan say something more specific to the fact of like, hey, it's okay if you are XYZ. And I want to say, because it's not Jonathan's place to say that. The
Ding, ding,
conversation is
ding.
not about outing Will. The conversation was about making a safe space and building a better foundation. Well, actually, just like solidifying the foundation that's already there in their relationship as brothers. Like, if Jonathan had said, hey, dude, it's okay if you're gay, I'd be like, do you know he's gay? Like, what are you even
Thank
saying?
you. Thank
So
you.
that's
Thank
very
you.
frustrating to me. I thought the approach that Jonathan took was the absolute 100% right way to go. All he did was make it about their relationship. He created a safe space for his brother. He reinforced the fact that, like, I'm always going to be here for you. It doesn't matter. Will is not at a place where he's ready to talk about this in, direct terms. And that's his fucking choice. So,
Yep.
bravo to whoever wrote that scene. It is perfect. And those are my feelings.
Snap. Well, I probably don't have anything then to add because you just hit every point that I was going to come up with. I want to speak a little bit, just very briefly, about a personal story that I've had in my life with a family member that has come out to me. And I always made sure that this family member knew they were in a safe space. And it really maybe not even was always like direct conversation. It was just always like this, just this accepting, not I want to say vibe, that's so terrible, but like this accepting nature that you make it a safe space for them without directly saying something like, hi,
Yeah.
by the way, will you tell me if
Yeah.
you are part of the queer community? I think that that's gross. And
Yeah.
so I think that it's bullshit that anyone is in these streets being wild enough to say that conversation should have gone any other way. Because what if Will is not? Okay, because I'm here to tell you right now, even when we talked about, and I know last week's live was a fucking fiasco because I should have just known better and packed all of my stuff. But there were things I wanted to say, but it was so chaotic that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
But like the looks back, the painting to Mike, but what if it's not? What if Will is so upset in the back of the Pizza Palace or whatever it's called, van? Pizza Palace is Toy Story, I feel. But anyway, there's a Pizza Place. Maybe that's what it is.
Surfer
Oh,
something.
Surfer. Okay, Pizza Place. Let's just go with that. I don't know what it's called. I mean, what if he's so upset because these are more steps towards a quote unquote maturing of his friends, but he's
Right.
not there yet because
Yeah.
he had so much taken away from him. And by the end of the episode, he's never going to have his life back. He's never going to be quote unquote normal Will Byers that rode off from Mike's house after that
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons game that night.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I mean? So like
Yes. And I
there's so
think that
many
there is still
layers.
that duality there of like, it could really, like, we know that the Mind Flayer or Vecna now, like, has a connection with him. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I do think that Will is not straight. Maybe he's not gay. He could be
Sure.
bi, whatever. But like,
Sure.
it still is something of like, yeah,
Right.
it's not
But
Jonathan's place to be
nonetheless,
like, yeah,
right. And I thought Jonathan handled it beautifully. And when they were
yeah,
stirring up that salt and making that century take, I mean, let's be real though. This is also maybe not perhaps the best time to even try to have this conversation because we are trying to save the world right now.
I mean, when else are you going to do
So,
it though? What if something happens? You got to tie up these
well,
loose ends before the world ends.
but
Desperate
I see
times.
Jonathan also because obviously he's creating a safe space for Will to be like, if something like that were to happen, there, it wouldn't need to be something that needed to be answered, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
it's just him telling him, I'm here for you. You can talk to me. You can accept yourself, everything, along those lines. And then, so if this is just water, I promise.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, I thought it was beautiful. I thought I didn't want it to be any other way. And to be quite honest with you, I want it to be on Will's terms when Will's ready. And if it comes in the next season, it comes in the next season. If it doesn't, it doesn't, whatever.
Right.
I just want it to be I want Will to be the one that provides the information whenever. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alyssa says Jonathan sucks other than being a brother. He completely redeemed himself.
I
Honestly,
agree.
yeah, totally agree. Deez says he's being the supportive sibling that he should be. Yeah. Yeah. It
Oh,
was
and
well
it's
written.
Surfer Boy. Thank you.
Yes, I knew it was Surfer something.
Well, Pizza Palace, I was like, this is Toy Story, but get it out of your mind, but I can't. Or Pizza Place or whatever. So,
Well, I mean, speaking of Surfer Boy, I did want to just have a
hold on.
general shout out.
Water, sure,
Sure,
Jan.
Jan.
Love you, please. You make me so much fun. So, okay. Sorry.
Alyssa says the compassion Jonathan has to not make Will define anything is incredible. Yeah. Yeah. He really just has a sense of what his brother needs, and it's cool because Joyce is never around. So,
Pizza Planet through then ever?
ever?
Ever? Okay, Pizza
Well,
Planet.
speaking of
Yeah.
Surfer Boy, I did just want to shout out Argyle in general. He has been a great new addition to the cast. He always has a suggestion, even if everybody else around him thinks he's just a stoner boner. Like he's throwing out things just in case, like he's always got that pizza dough ball rolling, right? And then he always
Listen,
has good solutions too. Like this was a great idea to go and use the pizza freezer. Like, way to go, Argyle.
when he was like, dude, or
My dude.
my dude, how much salt do you need?
When he's
Okay,
like
first of all,
measuring L, like, yeah, that'll do.
he's the perfect SNL like the Californians skit. I don't
Yeah.
like that didn't register with me until we had all this conversation around the pizza, especially when he's talking like Surfer Boy pizza talk
Yes.
with the
Yes,
other
with the other
employee.
one, yeah.
But he's like, my dudes, how much salt do you need? And you're right, the way he was measuring it, he's like, I knew the perfect place, and you get there, and then like as they're making, like he talks to the guy, that's wonderful, and then he's like, got this kush, or and he's like, okay, but I have to say this, the guy that was like, I'm supposed to meet my friends at Taco Bell, and I was like, it's Taco Bell.
What did
But
he say?
anyway, Taco Bell, like I'm supposed to meet my friends at Taco Bell.
Oh.
Anyway, that's just me being stupid. But then the way that he whipped up that pizza and also the audacity
so
of
good.
but then I had to remember that we're in the 80s, but I was like, pineapple belongs on pizza, people. I just ate it last night.
Yes, totally agree. Don't deny until you try.
Don't deny until you try. Okay. But yes,
all right, what else?
Snaps to Argyle.
Absolutely. Okay, how are we feeling about Nancy and Steve? Because I gotta tell you, I'm 100% here for it. I want it. I need it to happen. Jonathan, sorry, go to college, fuck off, go be a brother, or do whatever you need to do. Nancy and Steve are endgame for me.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm just not vested in it. Let's see what happens next season. But I tell you why, because yeah, it was getting there for me. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I shared this in my stories when I was watching it, but I was like, not the 6-piece nuggets. Like, I shared a picture of a 6-piece nuggets from McDonald's with like a crying emoji because I was like, not him telling her that you were there for the 6-piece nuggets. And I was like,
And she was like, "Can we eat three of them and just have the other three?
can we
Or even
save
like just
like
save two. Just save two. That'd be fine. Save
yeah,
one."
let's start with one nugget and see how we feel. But so I'm not hating it, okay? But what I did not like when it came to Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan was just I hate to say this, but like Jonathan showing back up. Like or not showing back up, but like them not really like while they're shutting all of this stuff up or whatever, them
Yeah.
not just call it quits because I'm done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's like a, I don't know. I kind of expected it because I don't see Nancy and Jonathan splitting up that easily. I think they're going to deny that they have problems for a bit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but all right. So what's,
Wait a minute. Okay. You can okay, so yeah, they do name their kid, but he already does have 6 nuggets. You better come through, Alyssa. He already has
does
six.
he? Oh,
The
he really
kids,
does.
the
Yeah. No, I
babysitter.
was trying to
Yeah.
count all of them, but yeah, it's
I
true.
was sitting here and I was like, oh my god, Max, Lucas, Mike, Will, Dustin,
I think he's
and
got seven.
well,
L, Max,
Erica
Mike,
and
Will,
Elle.
Dustin, Lucas, Erica.
But is Erica
Erica, maybe not. Well, no, but they were season three a thing. So, like, I
true?
think
But
he's got seven.
I think Erica might be like, I don't need a fucking babysitter, Steve.
I was just gonna say, I think Elle would say, "I don't need a babysitter, Steve. Like, I'm more
Well,
powerful
true.
than all of you will
All
ever
of
be."
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy, I love that though.
So I
Well,
think that's
so
gonna take a bit. I think that's like a season five thing. It'll get
yeah,
sorted out then. But
yeah,
um, well, let's talk about another couple that I'm still rooting for. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but Max and Lucas. Oof, they did such a great job of really building a relationship finally for the two of them in this season. And
just to be ripped away. I hate it.
Lucas's
Not in a bad way,
reaction, oh,
but
it's so tough. Like, and
oh,
Lucas's reaction to Max's, I mean, let's also get into what happens to Max. Like, remember
yeah,
I
okay.
said, oh, it doesn't get old to watch Vecna's attack. Well, as soon as it happens to somebody you really love and care about, it gets old and you don't want to see it again.
I
Because
know, yeah.
watching Max get her bones broken like that was fucking terrifying and it broke my heart. Like it
Oh,
was
this
so
is a
sad.
real
And
tear.
like, I mean, I knew it was coming. We knew that Max was the fourth, whatever. We knew this gate had to open somehow. So we
Oh,
knew something was going to happen to her. We'd been speculating that she was going to be the one to die for a long time now, but still seeing it was a different thing. Lucas's reaction to it, like him getting the strength to finally fight back against Jason, which, like, fuck yeah, it was so great to see Lucas and Erica, get their shit against these guys. But his emotional response was devastating.
yeah.
And just like the back and forth between her saying, I'm so scared, I don't want to die yet. I was like, they put those words in the mouth of a baby, and I'm dying. And then
Uh,
his response, it was all so, it just hit so well.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. Eh, the Max. Oh gosh. I mean, I guess yeah. I mean,
Well,
once it got to the point that it got to, and we watched the bones breaking. I'm not gonna lie though, I started to get worried, and I know I just bitched about plot armor, but when I say worried, I was like, well, did I manifest this very terrible thing into the universe? but also like the eyes being white. I mean, like
Oh, and the blood from
everything
it.
and
Oh
the
my
blood. Well,
God.
and I think the blood because her eyes were white before when they saved her, but when the blood comes, I think is
Yeah.
like because she ends up, you know, in the coma with blindness and everything, and I'm just like, no, 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 you
I
know,
know when
and
she
also.
says I can't see anything or feel anything, like, whoo,
Oh,
gut punch.
yeah, yeah,
We got
yeah.
a couple comments here about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So Alyssa says, watching Lucas beg her to live killed me. Yeah, that was really tough. Kevin, we can just call him Kevin, by the way. I asked for
Oh,
confirmation of real usage of real names. So Kevin says Sadie Sink was absolutely incredible this season. Give her the Emmy. Have the Emmy noms come out yet? Not yet. Soon.
I don't think so. But
Yeah. She
if
was nominated for something else though, like a Hollywood Critics or
she needs to be on the Walk of Fame already, get it. Let's get it.
she was amazing. She did a great job. So that's,
Yeah,
and then, we can talk more about if you want, like, what 11 did, because, like,
yeah, yeah.
again, I think this is worse. I think it would have been really tough to say goodbye to Max, but, like, even if Max comes back from this, what does it do to her to be in this space for however long she might need to be in this space? Like, we've seen the kind of damage that it did to Will and how it was so hard for him to kind of catch up with his friends. And so, like, I'm also kind of wondering, like, was this a mistake on Eleven's part? Because we did get that conversation between her and Vecna, where Vecna was like, Papa wasn't the monster. Like, you're the one that created me, right?
Ooh.
And
When
then
I
11
let me
goes and
tell you
interferes
something.
with shit, and it's like,
Well, but let me tell you something. The fucking non-existent balls on Vecna, because wait, listen, he don't wear clothes, but I've never seen testicles. I could I don't know how I would do it, but I could have cut all of his tentacles off, strangled him with them, because I was like, no, let me tell you something, fucker. Yeah, she sent you there because do you not recall what you were doing in the laboratory? Uh, get right, okay? Like,
I mean, I think he has a point though. I mean,
uh,
she did what she needed to do in the moment to get
sure.
rid of him, to save what was
And
left to be saved.
she ultimately created him. Do not get me wrong. But it was the fact that he was trying to guilt her with that A, but also B, no one on this planet is ever going to believe that Papa was not bad. So you can take that
Correct.
shit straight back up your ass, sir.
Yeah. No,
Okay?
he's wrong about
So,
that. He is still the monster, 100%. But
but
I also enjoyed that part of like the final battle so much more than because I am getting a little fatigued of just watching 11 push her hand out and shriek at people. It's cool to a point, but I very much preferred when she was kind of, back against the door, bind up, and they're having that conversation. That to me revealed a lot more. It felt scarier. It felt like the stakes were higher. So,
you know what would have been great? Except, well, hold on. Side note, back the balls. You are welcome for the image, D's. Here's the thing. Uh-oh. Where did it go? Where did you go? My
where's the
little
thing?
thought. What were we talking about? Okay, what did you say? This is terrible. What did you say right before I read back the balls? Because after that, I was like, uh-oh. Oh, 11. So the hand thing.
Yes.
Great. We've seen it. I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad that you have so much power that you can do. I love power with hands. I think it's great. How fantastic would it have been for her to have gone through Project Nina and been able to have some kind of crazy new like way of taking something down. Like I know she can do things with her mind. I know she can do things with her hands. I mean, what about her feet? I'm just throwing it out there.
What about like
I can pick things up with my feet. Can you bring a helicopter down with yours? Give me some feedback, Elle.
what about her hair? Ooh,
What? Oh,
too soon?
I'm gonna call you Steve when he
Wait,
talks about the
why?
when he talks about
Oh,
knocking
sure,
Dustin's
sure, sure,
teeth
sure.
back out or
But Elle
whatever.
says it's a bitch and look.
Too far. Too far.
She
Yeah,
says
I
it's a
know.
bitch
I
and
know.
look.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, yeah.
So, but that, yeah, like the whole thing in Max's memory, like at the snowball or whatever. I mean, it's great to see 11 show up and take Vecno for 30 seconds. But then after that, it's kind of just like the same old thing that we've seen before, whatever, whatever. I mean, it was
Yeah,
still fantastic. It's still great special effects, but yeah, just a much
sure.
more interesting like what did Argyle call it? Like a mind battle or whatever, which is what she's doing, but just still even that much more interesting when it's just them talking. Like, because they do
I
have such a
love it.
history. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and that whole scene before that, like when Max is there by herself, and then there's like the exploding blood balloons, and Dream a Little Dream of Me comes on, and it's all slowed down and fucked up. That was really spooky. I like that a lot.
Let me tell you something. This might be bad of me, but I was here for every moment of her getting lost in a memory
Yeah.
not working. I'm sorry, that probably sounds a very crass, but what I mean by that is you are talking about the 5-star general to the mind player or whatever. Listen, I'm still confused on all of that, but nonetheless.
Also, did you just call him the mind player?
Hey, I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot because he
Nice.
does. Okay. Um oh my god, I gotta get stay focused. But I loved the suspense of will it or will it not work, but I also loved the fact that it didn't work because that plot armor that we keep talking about, I was glad that it yeah, I was glad it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it reminded me of Carrie. Absolutely, Alyssa. And let me tell you what else it reminded me of It. Because there were exploding balloons that had blood in them. So
Yeah.
I was like the homage to all of these like just fantastic moments. Like maybe okay, so we took the idea, I'm just gonna say this.
And both Stephen King
Yes.
properties as well. Yeah.
Yes. I love the idea of an homage to a Freddy Krueger, right? Like in your dreams or like in your mind type thing, and they can and he can kill you. Obviously, you know I'm down with that. But then also, yes, like the little things peppered in a Michael Myers mask, the babysitter killer. Then you've got total Carrie vibes with it being at the dance, and then you've got like exploding balloons with blood in them. I
Well,
mean,
and even later when Vecna's body just disappears, that's total
that's
slasher
that's Michael
vibes.
Myers.
Like,
He's gone.
well, that's like horror movie 101. Like the
Well,
body is
yeah,
always
Jason, all
gone.
of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Like, and I love that. And so I'm like, they just really stepped it up so much with okay, so like there's paid homage to horror, like when you're thinking of American Horror Story, like this, was it season 9 where they did Redwood, Camp
Camp
Redwood.
Redwood, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, but there's this to me is elevated horror homage, and I'm here for it. I know that was snotty of me. So
It's just
snotty.
done better. It's just like
Yeah.
more thoughtful, better written. Like, yeah.
So she says, I also thought about the scene with Nancy and Robin going to see Henry's dad. It was like Silence of the Lambs. Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's a good one.
Um,
Also, like, I know,
I was
Alyssa, you
waiting
weighed
for
in
him
on
to
your.
sucking. I was waiting for him to turn around with no eyes and be like, Chianti, do you have any Chianti?
It's pronounced chee-anti.
Do you have any Chianti? Girl, I promise
Alyssa,
that.
I know you weighed in on what your
Oh, sorry. Yes.
dislike was, but I was gonna say, everybody that's watching, that's here live with us, if you've got like a your major dislike, your highlight of the night. Kevin, I know you said something last week about like one of your favorite moments ever in TV. So I'd love if you still want to share that with us. That'd be awesome. But
I bet I know what it
obviously,
is, but probably
oh,
not. But anyway, no, I
I
don't
bet I
know.
do, but probably not.
Yeah, you know how I roll.
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay,
So what
next,
else?
I was gonna say next, do we want to go to Hopper's crew, or do we want to
Sure.
talk about Eddie? I kind of want to save Eddie for last, to be on. To be on, that was short for honest.
To be
Because
honest.
I've got okay, but to be honest, because I have a lot to say about it. All I'm gonna say about Hopper's crew, and the Demogorgon,
Yeah.
fucking flamethrower. And let me tell you something right now. Okay, not hold on. Not to discredit the fact that Hopper did save the day by defeating the Demogorgon with a sword that appeared out of nowhere, by the way, everyone, just so you're all
Okay, I
aware.
keep seeing that and hearing that everywhere, but in one of the previous episodes, they go to like a locker of weapons to fight
They
the
did not
Demogorgon.
they did not bring there was not a samurai sword in there. But
Somebody had it. Somebody
I will be
had it
willing
and
to
they
watch
dropped it.
again. I will be willing to watch again.
I
But
just assume it came from that locker or that like thing
you're
full of
right. I mean,
weapons.
it probably did, but for me in the moment, I was like, I'm not disappearing out of thin air like you're at a Nintendo game or something. Like, oh my god, there it is! Like, poof, let me
Right.
pick it up. Um, fucking flamethrower. Now, let me tell y'all my all-time favorite flamethrower thing in the history of the history of the history of the world does involve Leonardo DiCaprio, who gave me my first lady boner, obviously. But it's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I won't spoil anything, but he does get some really awesome flamethrower action.
Oh,
And when
okay.
Murray, so the fact that it is Murray who fucking blasts out with this flamethrower, I
It was a great moment for him.
was kicking the air.
Yeah.
I should have done a live like every 30 or like maybe like specific things and not told y'all what it was for, but just like a reaction of me on Instagram because I was full on laying in the bed. I had thrown the covers off of me and I was kicking the
I mean, I
air.
got that text in full caps. I'm kicking
You
the air.
did.
So I know
You
that it was
did.
happening.
You sure did. I'm sorry, we've got some comments to catch up on. This is great. Let's see. Some fava beans, absolutely. No Chiani or whatever is good without
Chianti. Chianti.
Chiani, Conti. I don't know. I love Dustin and I love Dustin telling Eddie's uncle how great he was. That was a sad one, but a highlight for me, and also Hopper and Eleven reuniting. Oh yeah, we're gonna listen, girl, we're gonna get there. I promise. I laughed and grabbed the sword, like how convenient. Yeah, and then Murray's kung fu makes me laugh every time. We also have a question in here. Let me see.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm gonna save that, Kevin, because you know. Okay, let me say if it goes away, will it still be there? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, we'll come back to that, okay? And this is suspenseful for everyone who can't read what he wrote.
I can't read it either. So,
That's because you're not on the DP TV, the DFT. This is water.
okay.
Um,
This is not. So,
listen, it's been a long day. Okay.
that's okay.
I'm back to being a mom, so it's been a long day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Murray flamethrower, just fucking perfection. And I'm so glad it was Murray. I didn't think it would be anyone else, but I'm so glad that it turned out to really actually be Murray.
It was
So
a good moment for him. He's had a lot of great moments this season, but that was a highlight for sure.
yeah, and you know
Um,
how much I love him. So
I also really liked the conversation between, I think his real name's Dimitri, but the guy that we were calling Enzo and Yuri, um, that was another really good example of how adept this show is at making me care about the smallest characters, because as soon as they have this whole like backstory for him of like how he was this hero, but then shit happened in between, and like he decides to put back the part of the plane and get Katinka up
Oh,
and running. I mean, it worked for me. I
Katinka!
was sold. I was sold. So
Also, just so I want everyone to know, if you are a Game of Thrones fan, I have to credit my dear friend Jen Sandwich for pointing this out to me. But once she pointed it out, I was like, wow, light bulbs. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, um, Enzo is like no face guy. I could never pronounce his name. I'm gonna say Jaqen. But anyways, he's no face guy that teaches Arya how to snatch faces, and just like the fact that
ooh.
that clicked in my head. Well, no, the fact that Jim pointed it out and then it clicked in my head, I was like, now I fucking love Enzo even more, because that was one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones, and it's
Oh,
all because
cool.
of the actor. It's all because of the actor. So
He's really good. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
just glad he made it
so
through, and I assume we'll see at least some of him maybe in season 5. I don't know. I mean, he's alive,
I
so
know. And everybody's saying, oh wow, it is that, awesome, and wow, I feel like I should have known that. Same, because once I pulled up images of him from Game of Thrones, I was like,
it was obvious. Yeah.
what have you been doing? Like this whole time, I've just been looking for things that Joseph Quinn has been in, so I could like continue that new boner that I've got for him. I should have been looking up Enzo, but anyway.
Yeah, he was great. I hope to see him again, even if it's just like maybe he's like running a team in Russia or something to help fight stuff. But yeah,
Ooh, love it.
not running that kind of team, Mel's. Like, come on, it's a family
I meant
show.
I made a real team.
I know.
I'm turning my light bright back on because
I
I'm
know. I'm the
channeling my
sicko.
childhood.
I get it.
Okay. OMG.
Well, what was I don't really have that much more, honestly. Like the only thing I still have left on my list is stuff that's been brought up in the chat, like the conversation between Destin and Eddie's uncle, which was phenomenal. And then
Oh,
all the reunions at the end. So I don't know if you want to read. I don't
I
know
will.
what Kevin,
Uh-huh.
like, does Kevin's comment have to do with Eddie? And so are you saving that
Yeah.
for? All right, so why
Yeah.
don't we just get into that
Okay.
stuff then? But I
I
I can still hear you. I'm just going to be right here for a second because like I feel like
wow, she's gonna leave me when the Eddie combos
no,
start.
listen, I just feel like shit's about to get hot. So I need to take off my denim jacket.
Whoa!
I need
I
to
thought this was a family show.
No, it's no.
And here you are getting nudie. No, but before, I'm gonna have to send you a fangirl so you can.
I have so many
Um.
fans. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to thank them all.
But bum. Okay, that was a pretend. No, that was a pretend soundboard. What you can see is I pressed a button that's not there. So anyway, we'll get to Kevin and I. We'll get to our
Okay,
fucking
okay.
the best thing ever. But I do also, even though we've said it, I have to say, fucking cried like I don't even know what with the reunion, especially when she told Hopper that she left the door open 3 inches. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
yeah, it was
sorry
sweet. All of
because
the
she
reunions were
never.
really sweet.
Well, yeah, but that one was the best. Also, just a little side or an aside, Duffer Brothers. Girl can blow up a helicopter. Can she not just wiggle that cabin back to being clean? All right.
You did text this to me, and I thought
Yeah.
about it today while rewatching. I don't know if that's how her powers work. Like, I would
Well,
love
maybe
to be
that's
able
what
to see
Nina should
her.
have done for her.
Oh, so, okay. So let me get this straight. What you wanted to add to Elle's powers was cleaning. Should
Yeah,
we
who?
add make a sandwich?
No, I'll make a sandwich, but who the fuck wants to clean?
I don't know. Hire someone else
This
to do with them.
this is when I tell you Endora from Bewitched. I loved Samantha, but
Mm,
Endora was
mm,
always my favorite because Samantha always wanted to do it the human way, and Endora was
right.
like, whatever, and then like the
Oh,
whole kitchen's clean.
yeah. If I had magic, I would never pick up a broom ever again. Like everything would just be spotless all the time. I don't know why you wouldn't use the magic, but I
Absolutely.
just don't know if that's what Elle's powers can do. I think she might like wreck stuff if she tried to use her powers to clean.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. You're right. You're right. Okay, let's get into. I'm just gonna read Kevin's comments straight
Yeah.
up, and then
Okay.
let's rock the fuck out with it. So you can save this when you get there. When Eddie plays Master of Puppets, I absolutely jumped up and cheered. I am a huge Metallica fan, and I cannot say enough amazing things about the use of this song in that scene. Perfection to me. Let me tell you something. Um, snaps, claps, you are just you are spot on. Now, I love Metallica. Um, not as much as Nirvana. It is what it is. But I'm a huge Metallica fan. I'm also really into this whole era, and I know that Metallica didn't start it, but I'm very fascinated with the Satanic Panic era and like
Hmm.
everything that came out of that. I just got a brand new
Right.
book that I will share on Instagram for everyone to see. It is full of fascinating information about that.
Cool.
But Metallica was kind of in the middle of that, especially with sub like the West Memphis Three and things like that. Because if
Ooh, no, I
you,
really don't know that much. So
oh
I'd love
my
to hear more about
gosh.
this book.
Well, it's like if you wore black fingernail polish, if you wore black eyeliner, if your hair was black, if you were goth, if you listened to Metallica, if you wore band shirts. I mean, like, you were worshiping the devil. But anyway,
Am I
so
crazy for thinking that, like, why do we just have a hatred for the color black? Like, does this track with some other things? Like,
well, man, that's why I wear it all the time, baby. Yes, Arkside, I'm sorry. Alyssa says the fact that Joseph Quinn actually played the guitar, he's such a babe. And
oh wow, I didn't know
this
that. That's really cool.
this is where we're fixing to get metal, okay? Now. Um, A, that man, my hair is falling by now, but I am going to do something to get his attention with my Eddie Munson look. B, B, he fucking shredded. And you see these memes, you see everything. I shared so many things on my stories where I was like, they put the Eddie's performance like over this guy walking out of his like a meme, right? Of this guy walking out and being like, fuck yeah, shit. Like that is it. And it is the fact that he did it because like that's one thing that Scott was like, no way he's doing this. And I was like, fucking way,
Why
man.
not?
Fucking way. He is doing it.
Why did Scott
Way.
not believe that? That's so funny.
Well, because usually when you're watching, things, especially if it's a cover of a song or whatnot, I mean, like, they're usually not playing. I mean, it's like I think he's thinking of like Fright Club. You know what I mean? Like we all know they're not playing the instruments, but like Zach
Well,
Attack
yeah,
the
like
Turtle had her bass upside down. It's like, come on
I'm sure
now,
that there
like
was some stuff that happened with filming because you can't necessarily like he probably played it, but there was no sound. Like you can't really do that while you're filming, but
exactly.
yeah.
So, anywho, back to this. Eddie died in vain. I'm sorry. I don't think that him driving the Demobats away did anything because Elle was already in there, like working her thing. But I don't even care about that
I mean,
because
and he didn't know that, so
no. That's what I was about to say. I don't even
right.
care because the fact that we've had this kid that the whole town now thinks is like opening hell's mouth gate, whatever. He fucking plays Dungeons and Dragons. Like, he I hate the world, but let's move on from that. We've talked about that plenty enough. Um, the flashbacks of him saying, I I'm a coward. I always run away. That fucking gutted me. I mean, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And then when he tried to run away when they were being overrun with the bats, and then he was like, no. And it was like he took his stand, like not to get all Stephen Kingish, but it's like he took his stand and he was like, no. And then he gave the most metal performance that he has ever given. And I mean, he didn't even give a metal performance like this with his fucking band, I'm sure. I, him on top of that mobile home with that bandana, shredding out to this Metallica song, fucking forget it. I was done. Whatever happened after that, I had to rewatch like 5 times because I was like, I'm done. I'm done. You could end it right here. I don't need to know anything else. And if you think for 2 seconds that song has not been on fucking repeat times infinity for me, you have lost your mind. So anyway, I loved it. And then also Dustin having the guitar pick necklace, like giving it to his uncle. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that was the thing that really hit for me. Like, I do not mean to like yuck all over everyone's yum, and like I am very much in the minority about this because I know that Eddie is like a huge favorite, but I like Metallica doesn't do it for me. It's not my style.
Okay. It's okay.
I can still recognize that like objectively that's an incredible scene. And it's a really cool thing for this guy to be just like playing an epic riff to like
an
distract some demobats, like,
but
you know what I
mean?
mean?
Song, like honestly, I mean, even if you're not in, like, I know you're not like into that music scene, but like, if you are into that music scene, you just know how fucking iconic that first, and as soon as it hits, I was crying. I had chill bumps. I was going to throw up. I was kicking. I was rolling around. I was doing all the things. So
I think it hit all the right beats for so many people. And especially just like what that character represented. I think it was probably a fantastic choice. So
okay, let's read some comments because these are killing me. So Dee says, leading up to the finale, I was thinking it was Master of Puppets or possibly a Dio song that was going to be used. So glad they used Metallica. Alyssa says he totally makes me want to go back to high school and get in the woods and have an epic makeout sesh. Girl, he might get more than a makeout sesh. Okay, definitely when that first riff hit, I lost it. Kevin, yes.
Alyssa said to get high in the woods, which like, yeah.
Oh, to get high. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
And then Kevin did say, or Dee said, Eddie bought the Hellfire. Yes. And then seeing them play Master of Puppets live is absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. I've never seen Metallica. I've always wanted to. And I mean, it's a failure on my part for that. But I'm so glad that we can connect like this, Kevin, because any Metallica, like, to this extreme that I'm fond. So
and I mean, I can, like I said, I can still say that is a very cool scene.
Yes.
And
I'm
like
sorry,
for that to be part of the plan. No. For that to be part of like the overall plan is still very cool. Yeah. I think I'm just like more in the camp of like, let's go back to running up that hill. Let's hear that song again.
No, I mean, like, honestly, I saw this meme and it made me bust out laughing where it was like Kate Bush with like somebody had like photoshopped a crown and like a scepter, and then it was like Metallica and someone had photoshopped like all these jewels all over them, and they were like Kate Bush and Metallica after season 4 of Stranger Things. And then like underneath it was just like this fake like chart thing of like all like their music just like going through the roof. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, I don't think Metallica needed that much help, but it was awesome to see like the duality of Kate Bush with Metallica on like
they're so different. Great. And like even the choice of like Running Up That Hill. I mean, that's the biggest, most recognizable song, I would say. I'm super interested to know like what people who had never heard any other Kate Bush that went and listened, how many were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go back to Running Up That Hill, thanks. That'll be good for me."
Well, you're not gonna like this because Alyssa says love Kate Bush, but God, they are playing her to death.
I mean,
Well,
I have in my notes too, like I am a person that will listen to a song on repeat for a month at a time. Once I find a song I like, it's just over and over and over again until I know every single lyric, until it's played out. And so I
same.
was like, I give Max 4 days, 4 more days until she fucking hates that song and won't listen to it for probably 6 years.
And then she will be saying, "This is music." Like when they were like, "No, we need music," and he's like,
Yes.
"That's music."
Yes.
Um, no, you're right. But I think what is killing me is not so much like if I catch it like on the like Sirius or like coming around in my playlists or whatever, it's like so many reels that I'm seeing out there where I'm like,
So many.
okay, like we can do some different ones. And I love that Kevin says this because as much as I love the Puppets usage, of course, I actually feel Running Up That Hill was an even better song choice. Running
Hmm.
Up That Hill was a fantastic choice for what it was played in with
Yeah.
Max. And that haunting, because this is a reverberated, like, I don't know, Scott could tell you every, like, however they distorted it, because obviously it's through,
Like during the final battle or whatever? Or are you
well,
talking about
that
Eddie's?
and no, oh no, I'm talking about like Running Up That Hill. So the way they
Yeah.
distorted it when she's escaping Vecna,
Yes.
like because it's supposed to be muffled sounding, like so he has all these terms. He's like, oh, they
Right.
reverberated, they did this, and I'm like, I don't know. I just
Hmm.
think it sounds cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, the usage of it in that moment and that song and the lyrics in that song, like you cannot beat that it was made for the perfect like moment in Stranger
Yeah.
Things history.
Which is also why I'm glad, I said this last time, but I'm glad that they didn't do a song for Nancy because they just needed to make that a thing for Max. What's wrong?
Alyssa Alyssa said that's why Vecna got her. She didn't love the song anymore.
You
Alyssa,
can only listen to a song so many times, and that's
I
coming from a person that
know.
listens to a song for like 1 month straight.
Well, honestly,
I guess it
I
wasn't a
don't.
month though. It was only like a couple days. So
I'm
she's probably
totally
fine. She probably
different.
still loves it.
I'm totally different because like I can put on In Utero and I've listened to that 10 million light years times over from Nirvana, and I could still listen to it front to back, back to front. I mean,
Oh,
like,
sure. There's always going to
but
be those certain albums or there's those
sure,
certain
sure.
songs that will never get old for you. Yeah.
But for me, that's a comfort thing. Like when you watch certain TV shows like over and over,
Yeah.
because I think
Right.
like listening to certain songs or albums into because Scott will get to the point sometimes where he's like, I can't listen to this again, and I'm like, repeat.
You're like, well, then get some headphones and listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Can I
How about
offer
that?
you these earbuds? I don't know what to tell you.
May I play you a tiny violin in these trying times?
But okay. But that's
Alyssa says,
really
I will
all of.
never get sick of Hit Me Baby One More Time, ever. Love it.
That's true.
I went through a period
Um,
in 2021, I think, where I was just listening to Britney for like
I
a
remember
few months
that.
straight. Yeah.
I
I don't
remember
know
that
what
because you
happened, but
you recreated your pose and everything, baby girl, and you were looking fantastic. You had the denim vest. You had it all down to a T. And
thank
then
you so much.
yeah, and then I was like, she is in her Britney phase and in her Britney feels, and she is living her
Yes,
life right
I
now.
was. I
So,
was. I was very much in a Britney phase. Yep.
well, this was amazing. I
Ooh.
have to just say, like,
Oh, don't you?
I put on these fake crystals for like Eddie tears, and I'm glad because I feel like they gave you superpowers to not actually ball.
Oh,
So,
wow. Because you didn't want them to slip off.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Didn't you say that you also have a theory?
Oh, Lord, yes. Okay, let's hit the theory real quick. Kevin, let's talk. Let's just talk, Kevin. Let's talk. Anyway,
I've seen the Foo
uh,
Fighters. I
yes,
have.
Jasmine has.
They opened for the
Yes.
world's worst musician.
Uh-oh, let's
I'm not gonna
zoop.
say who that is. Yeah.
Let's zoop. Okay, because
Mm-mm.
that's a controversial yet brave moment
Oh,
for you.
mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is a wild theory, and I want to credit Alyssa, our damn fine bestie, and Bookhouse Babe, for actually sending me some more information on the theory that I was already kind of forming in my head. And I will be, I'm
Oh.
conflicted on if this comes to fruition or not. So, A, Eddie's not actually dead. He somehow will be revived in the upside down and will become like an upside down because there are, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not going to bore you to death on this, but hit me up if you do. I'll give you a short overview. There's so many characters, there's so many stories, but there is a specific character that is very closely related to the character of Vecna. Okay, and Vecna, this character was very close to Vecna, and then ends up betraying him. And I'm not spoiling anything because this isn't the Dungeons and Dragons like lore. So the theory that Alyssa fully formed for me is that perhaps this could be Eddie in the Upside Down if he were to come back, be revived, whatever it may be, and he becomes some sort of link in the next season to where maybe they don't have to go to the upside down so much. They've got somebody already there. I love this. Do not get me wrong. But after what happened with Hopper last season, I don't want any more death fake outs.
Right.
So I'm conflicted. Like, I would love to see it be this kind of death fake out where maybe he really is dead, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's Cass. That's right. Or Kaz. Yeah, the sword wielding vampire traitor of Vecna.
Hmm.
Um. So
I feel like Alyssa, did you also send me that video on TikTok or something? And I was
yeah,
like, oh, could
she sent
be.
it to me
But I
on
like didn't
TikTok.
really get the whole thing because I, I don't really know much
Well,
about that. I was,
I'm into
yeah,
Dungeons and
yeah,
Dragons. So when she sent it, I was like, okay, listen, I wasn't going down that path. However, I was formulating these thoughts in my mind for him, especially with him being the Dungeons and Dragons master, for him to
right,
actually become something in the Upside Down that is related
right.
to their naming convention. So,
Well, who knows about that? Like, I also wonder if they see the love for Eddie and they're like, let's figure out a way to bring him back. I mean, I'm not totally opposed to it. I kind of think that that's kind of the game that they're playing, is that they love these characters and they want a feel good ending. Like, I think the end of season 5 is going to be a overall happy one, Like,
yeah.
I don't know that we're going to lose too many people, and in fact, I kind of have this weird thing. I guess I shouldn't call it a thing, maybe a theory, an idea, I don't know. But like, what if everybody that's been taken by upside down means somehow comes back throughout
Like
5?
zombies or something.
No, I mean like fully
Oh.
comes back, because
Oh.
this whole like hive mind thing and being able to attack one part and kind of, lower the health bar of Vecna in general. And just the way that we've seen the bodies still kind of held within the vines and like not really going anywhere, but still just in the vines. And so I wonder, and with Max being like somewhere between life and death, I wonder if
Yeah.
part of like taking down the upside down and Vecna for good also means like the release of these souls somehow.
Ooh, now that would be. I mean, I would be here for that, but I've got some bad news.
Oh.
I did some recap videos, and I was like,
Mm.
my boo Barb ain't coming back from that. She is goop of. She is gooped.
What? Bagooped?
She is bagooptified.
Wait, when? Because I just rewatched, but I don't
Girl.
remember when she's goop.
So it's like season 2, maybe, where Hopper goes down into like under the pumpkin patch. That's what I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Which it is a pumpkin patch, I guess, but none or corn patch, but
Yeah, because
nonetheless.
it's like a Halloween season. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes under and he's looking around, and then it pans over and you see Barb, and she is like gooptified, like in the wall. Like she's almost
Mm.
like, you know, I don't have a good example here, but she's like a tree person. And so I'm like,
Mm.
if she comes back though, I myself might be begooped.
Well, there's
So
also this idea though, like they mentioned this a couple of times of like it's different. When Vecna kills, he consumes. So again, it's like what if like I don't know if it's a reversing or if it's a with by destroying that, like, do they get released somehow? Because I don't know, like, I feel like maybe visually they're telling that story in a way, as well as with like the particles and how that created the mind flare. So, what if, you can do it in a
yeah,
different way? It might be cuckoo brain, wild and wacky, but
I don't think at this point anything can be wacky, to be honest. So I
after Twin
mean,
Peaks, I guess not. But
no, hell
and it's not
no.
even that I'm like dying, like oh my God, I can't wait for this person to come back. I would really like to see them again. In fact, I think a lot of people resurfacing would complicate a lot of things, like especially let's talk about Bob Newby coming back. That'd be really awkward for Joyce and
What
Hopper.
about Bob? I
What about Bob?
love him. Yeah.
Oh man, I shit talked Bob so much throughout season 2, and then when he died, I like this is when I was still on Twitter and like live tweeting, and I was like, I would like to formally apologize to everyone that ever liked Bob. I'm so sorry to him and his
we
family.
we accept. The family accepts. The
Sure,
family
thank
accepts.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Um,
my wacky hairbrain theory. But what have we missed here
I
in the
love
comments?
it. Not much, just some hyping up each other, just in talks amongst
Oh, that's
themselves, which is
nice.
amazing. I love this. But wow, what a ride it's been with Stranger Things
Yeah,
this season. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a tad bit salty that it's not the last one. I mean, I'm glad, but I'm salty.
it's a little
Because,
strange. Yeah.
well, it is
Er,
Stranger Things.
er,
So
things. Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, this has been fun. Of course, we'll be back
yeah,
for the next one whenever that comes. Hopefully, it's not 3 years from now.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Although they shouldn't rush it either, obviously. But yeah,
Please don't. Yeah, yeah. Let's do it some justice. Let's do it some good. So,
yeah. Well,
well,
hey,
thank you. Oh,
American
yeah.
Horror Stories is coming back soon. I think this
I
month.
know.
This month, next month,
The 21st of July,
maybe.
I thought.
Yeah, maybe.
So that would
So
be a
maybe
Wednesday, I believe.
we'll meet up again for some more AHS
I'm here
lives.
for it. I'm here for
We
it.
did
You
it
know, I
last
love
time, and it
to.
was so fun to just rip into it. Yeah.
You know, I love an American Horror Story live because let me tell you, that's when it really gets wild. Okay.
Yes, it truly does. Oh, Alyssa says she
Ah,
heard 2024. Okay, that's not too far away.
we'll be
So.
fine. I mean, we're waiting on Euphoria. We're waiting on this. We'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep.
Woo,
All
woo.
right. Well, good things take time.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey, thank
thank you,
you.
Kevin, for coming. Thank you, everyone that's joined us for all of these lives. They've been so much fun. We've loved chatting with you guys. It's
Ah,
always nice to see your names pop up
so
in the
great.
chat.
Yes.
I can see that people are listening to this afterwards, even with the bad sound quality. So cool. Thank you for
Hey,
still listening,
snaps.
everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, coming live, listening later. Again, this Saturday, July 16th, we've got our Patreon hangout. We're going to be talking about Audrey Horne from Twin Peaks. So come join us. It's going to be a lot of
I
fun.
can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
I can't wait to see what the patrons have to say.
Yeah. So you can find us at patreon.com/damnfinetv. Obviously, y'all probably know the spiel. And then, you know, if you are just tuning in and you don't realize, we also have a pod out there where we release coverages. Right now, we're finishing up our rewatch of The Return, Twin Peaks. and then we'll see what's in store for us next. So, very exciting
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. New stuff ahead. All right.
All right. Well, all of you take
Bye.
care. We'll see you later.
Bye.